you don't need closure. You need to move on. Life is gonna move on regardless of how you feel, and that's the hard truth. I feel like in life, we really get obsessed with the idea of a situation or a person or an idea in our head. And when that reality is really broken, we get shocked. We feel upset. We feel guilty because what we thought was going to happen in our head didn't add up. It didn't actually happen. And so that can lead to a lot of, uncomfortable emotions. But I'm here to remind you today that you need to move on, and you don't need that closure. You need to take that step to change your situation and to therefore change the way you think about yourself. When situations and people leave our lives, we feel scared because we've been stuck in this bubble of things we're comfortable with. We're very comfortable with being disrespected often, and we're very comfortable with not knowing how to take action against difficulties in our life and to take initiative against things. No one's going to come into your life and be like, here, I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on how I can change your life, and I'm going to do it for you. Nobody's going to do that for you, and I think that's the first step into really cultivating the culture where we can move on. Moving on is so important because it gives us a straight pathway in a way towards self-growth. Being able to set those boundaries and be like, no, I'm not going to act the same way I did before is a great example of you trying to love yourself. And loving yourself translates into moving on. Here's an analogy. So we see my cactus over here. So this cactus was not able to grow big, wouldn't be able to grow big if I put it in a small pot. But because I put it in a big pot, it was able to grow big and even have these like smaller cactuses on it. And the point of that is that we need to put ourselves in bigger pots, put ourselves in bigger situations and challenge ourselves. Again, like I said, we get attached to situations and people and ideas that when people leave us, we cannot accept that. And it makes us feel like we're not worthy because we got rejected. But rejection is so healthy because it reminds us that my energy is not for everyone. And that's hard for some people to understand. But that's life, that's life. And from a teenager to another teenager, it's okay if things don't work out for you. It's going to be okay. I think in this culture of going to like a very academic school, it's so easy to get caught up in the perfectionist mindset where if things don't work out for you, then okay, great, well, my life is over. That's not true. And I think that's why people cannot move on, because they're so obsessed with the idea they made up in their head of success, of beauty, of my identity, that when your identity and your ego is challenged, it's so hard to be able to be like, no, that was actually good. Being able to move on comes with strength, it comes with wisdom, and it comes from wanting to take that challenge to put yourself in a place where you thought you can never be in. A great example of this is me just making this video right now. I was procrastinating it for so long because I was like, you know what if nobody sees this? If no one sees this, that's fine. I actually use this opportunity to reflect on my own abilities and teach people how I can grow as a teenager as well. Moving on is going to allow us to access parts of our life that we never even thought we could achieve. And that makes me so happy because having the opportunity to change is one of the amazing things in life. You can find a way to change and to really constantly grow. But that comes with moving on. That comes with letting go parts of yourself that wouldn't allow you to access your future self and your potential that you want to achieve. Because you can't succeed until you fail. And moving on in some ways is a form of failure and rejection. But who said failure is bad? And I think we gotta rewire that. Again, the fact that life keeps on moving. There's every single day, there's night and day, and it keeps on continuing because it's trying to tell us that things will move on without you. Life is telling you that things are going to change, and you need to just keep up with that. It comes with a lot of risk-taking, but ultimately that's going to lead you to a point where you'll be proud of yourself for actually trying to do something with your life. Just let go of trying to figure out the answers all the time. You don't always need to know why that person rejected you. You don't always need to know why that job didn't want to hire you. Sometimes the best thing is just to move on, let go. Stop thinking that your worth is defined by someone else's validation. It's time to learn and to embrace that journey of finding that worthiness within. telling yourself every morning, I am worthy, I am beautiful, I did that, I woke up early this morning. Celebrating the small wins, you know, like I went to school on time, I did that this week, and I felt so good after because I defined what success meant to me. And to me, success wasn't, you know, going to all the parties or, you know, getting 100% every test. Success to me was being able to achieve the small goals that I created in my life. That is a form of moving on, because I was able to move on from the perceptions and standards that society puts on us. But you have what it takes to change yourself and become the highest version of yourself, because you are worthy. And don't let anybody tell you that your worth is attached to a physical object or person. You get to define what works for you and what success means for you. But life is constantly changing, and so are you. That's it for today. Peace.